Hi, welcome. My name is Linda McFadden. I have a master's degree in applied psychology. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, a registered psychotherapist, as well as a variety of other certifications. Many clients have asked me why and how I got into the area of past life regression and life between lives. So I thought I'd share this story with you. I have what's called Linda's Law of Three. And what is Linda's Law of Three? Well, what that means is that whenever anything comes into my universe 3 times, then I believe that the universe is communicating with me and is giving me direction on which way to go. And I had a client come in one week and talked about this psychic in the area who is well known. And I thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. I didn't have any judgments one way or the other. And then the next week, a different client came in and talked about the same psychic. And so I went, okay, that's interesting. I made a note of that. When the third client came in, again, a totally different client came in, I knew I was going to see a psychic. So I thought, okay, this is interesting. Now, this gentleman usually has a wait list of up to 2 years, and I was able to get in within 2 weeks, actually probably a week and a half. And I went in and I was kind of, to be honest with you, I was feeling, like I was going to debunk him, that I was pretty smart cookie and he wasn't going to be able to pull something over on me. And when I walked in, I was astounded at his accuracy. Absolutely no way he could know the things he knew. We had just relocated into the area, so from Northern Ontario, so there's no way he could have found out any of this information. So a piece of the reading that he gave me was about me needing to go into the direction of soul journeys and tapping into that spiritual aspect of who I was. When I left the session, I walked out of the door and I thought, what is he talking about? Dr. Michael Newton's soul journeys, hadn't heard about it. And I thought, well, it must have something to do with reincarnation. So what happened was my husband actually went out of town for a week, so I took that week as an opportunity to do research. And I spent almost basically that whole week reading and researching Dr. Brian Weiss. And I know that there's other past life regressionists out there, but I tend to, because of my conservative background, I tend to resonate more with those who have credentials. And so I researched Dr. Brian Weiss, and I found it absolutely fascinating, mind-blowing. It really pushed me outside of my comfort zone. And near the end of that week, I thought, okay, I'm brain dead. I just need to step away from researching. I need to step away from my head. And so the first time in a week I turned on the TV, I was looking, I think at that time, to watch Roseanne or Everyone Loves Raymond. And I turned on the television, and the first thing I saw on the television, that's never been turned on in a week, was Dr. Brian Weiss, Past Life Regression. So I got the message. But I still wasn't totally convinced. I knew the universe was talking to me, but this is my credentials that I was putting online. And when you work as hard and as long for credentials, you don't easily just set them aside in order to go off into what's considered to be a woo-woo direction. So I thought, well, I need to have a past life regression myself. So I did the research, I scheduled an appointment, and I traveled to undergo a past life regression. First of all, I've never been hypnotized, so I didn't know what that was, and I figured that my brain would somehow circumvent the whole process because I tend to be very left brain and analyze. And as I was going under, the facilitator said to me, you know, what do you see? And I said, nothing, 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 don't see nothing. And then she said to me, make something up. Make something up. I traveled all of this distance paying all of this money, and she wants me to make something up. And that was the mind chatter that was going on internally. So I thought, okay, well, I did pay this money. I did travel this distance, okay? I'm just going to go with it. So what popped into my head was running in the bush. And I started talking to her about I'm running in the bush. And she said, well, what are you doing in the bush? I said, I'm running away. And as I was talking to her, I felt a pain in my thigh, my upper thigh. And I was going, what is that? Like, what is that? And I stopped, and she said, what's going on? And I didn't want to say anything. I thought, this is really weird. I wanted to process it. And then finally, I just said, there's a pain in my leg. And she said, well, what's it from? And I said, it's a musket ball. And I'm confused because I've never seen a musket ball. I only know what arrows look like. So I'm running, and I have this wound in my leg. And so then she took me to the next significant event. I didn't die in the woods. And I was a native man. I was about 6'2", 6'3". I was very, very tall. I was a warrior. I had 2 sons, and they were as tall as I was. And I had a wife. And interesting enough about my wife is I didn't see her as a handsome woman, an attractive woman, but I felt very strongly that she was a good woman. I had this inner conviction when I was talking to my facilitator that this was a good woman, and that feeling welled up in me. It was very, very powerful that this was a good woman, and I was very happy with the choice I had made as far as a partner. So, and that's my first experience with past life regression. And when I left the office, I went trying to process that. And what I came up with is that I can't make things up. I tried telling a story to my daughter and making one up, and there's always a prince and a princess in a castle, because my imagination just doesn't work that way. So for me to make up a Native American Indian, okay, well, maybe, yes. But the pain in my leg, the conviction I had about my wife, was something that I knew I couldn't make up. And so that's what started my journey into past life regression. And I understand that there's, through all the research and through the case studies, the clients that I've been privileged to serve, that astounding results can happen as a result of that.